Yes, I think we're still going. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tango Live with Winnie. We got technology working on our side today. Every Thursday, we have Tango Live with Winnie, where Winnie from Ben and Winnie brings you the greater Tango community from all over the world so that we can become one. Today, we have from Buenos Aires, our first Tango bassist joining my episode. Pablo Motta, how are you today, my friend?
I am doing great. Thank you, Winnie. I'm so happy to be here. I'm here at home, but I'm here also at your this is a show. This is
That's
an
right.
international show. I hear Jay Leno has been asking about you.
That's right. I'm a little busy right now. I'll call him back shortly.
Yeah. This is great. I'm so glad you do this. This is a great idea.
Well,
And so
thank you. Before
I'm glad to be part of it.
I gloat a lot more about Pablo, we want to hear him first, because what is a bassist going to do by himself? Well, we're going to show you in this episode. Pablo, is it all right that you play solo for us? Because some people think that you can't.
So just right now, just go in.
Right now, please. Right now, hot and
There's no
cold.
warning.
Let's see. How about some piazzolla? Because that's like easy or something, right? Let's start with
Sure.
that.
Sure, I can tell you a little bit while I put some rosin.
Yeah.
I can put you. Well, this is Piazzolla wrote a few pieces, three pieces dedicated to the bass/bass players, and one of them is called Contrabajissimo. Another one is called Quicho, dedicated to Quicho Diaz, and this one he co-wrote with Aníbal Troilo, and it's called Contrabajeando. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like a little free cadenza at the beginning, kind of an improvised thing, and then I'll go into the song. So you'll recognize it when I play. So this is Contrabajeando.
classicers. Did you see that? He is practically playing a very big violin or a very big cello. I mean, this is a contrabass. Does that shock you? It shocks me every day to see Pablo Motta. Pablo Motta is our guest today. He is the most famous on my chart on the bass for all kinds of music. He not only plays tango, he plays folklore and a lot of it. He plays this cool, modern, contemporary stuff, the genre that is without borders. You probably play blues too, no?
I play jazz, I play blues, I play classical music. I've tried to play as much music as possible, but mostly what I work with is tango, jazz, folklore, and classical music.
Wow.
And, some electric bass.
He's an all-purpose, music flowing through his body. Pablo Motta, our guest today, phenomenal. So Pablo, the comment I guess most often as a tango pianist is they come to me and say like, your bassist is very nice, but I can't really hear him and I don't really know what he does in the tango band. So can you tell us, Pablo, what does the tango bass do if we can't hear you? Is that really true that we can't hear you, or we actually hear a lot of you?
A lot of times that happens. But basically, what the function of the bass in tango specifically is to be the pulse, right? And the piano drives the band. The bass gets in there, to create this it's basically like the subwoofer, of the piano, because sometimes the piano left hand, you can hear it, but it doesn't have much weight sometimes. So then the bass rounds it off and helps to push like a bass drum too. Kind of similar to what happens with a big band, with the drums and the bass. The drums drive it and the bass rounds off the sound and the pulse.
I knew it. Without the bass, we pianists are always feeling a lot of something is missing. So thanks to Pablo, he gives the pulse of your heartbeat, dancers. If any time you feel like your heart has been changing pace, it probably is Pablo the bass doing something secretive back there. So since you're so well versed in classical genre and many other genres, Pablo, can you tell us briefly what is the difference between classical bass and tango bass? Like, what should we listen for in a tango bass?
Well, maybe I can show you some things, but it basically has to do, to me, it has to do with how we approach the bow strokes, right? Like, maybe like in classical music, we would play something like that, where in tango, it'd be. So, same dynamics, like mezzo forte, but in tango, automatically it's more percussive, it's more incisive, it's more rhythmic right off the bat, right? In tango, we can also do this depending on what we need, but the standard, the beginning of tango is this. This is the staccato. With pizzicato. The pizzicato is pretty similar to classical sounding. It's not like in jazz, where it's not like this, but it's like the classical sound of the pizzicato. It's just that sometimes we play it loud and we have to go down like this, like to get a bigger and louder sound. But basically that's the main difference, how we play short notes. And where, like right on the frog.
So cool.
And that's what drives the band.
That's beautiful. How can the whole band? The whole band has to listen to Pablo. I mean, look at that. How can you not follow that pulse? While we have Pablo here alone, we never get a bassist alone. Can you show us this really famous sound that you probably can hear a lot in this song that we all know called La Zumba? What is this thing called the arrastre? What is this? Like, what is this zumba?
Okay. So the arrastre literally means to drag, right? there's two ways of doing it on the bass. There's the bow arrastre, so it's basically anything before the beat. So anything I do before the beat, it's gonna be the arrastre. Now there's also arrastre with the left hand. So if you put them both together, it creates this thing, right? So the shumba is basically that arrastre, but like times a million, basically. So it's like quick and just way more percussive. But notice when I do that, I'm actually hitting the lower strings, and it kind of works well because it adds percussion to it. So anything that we can use to create more sound, or sometimes is the dry shumba is just no arrastre, but you have that heavy sound, but it's not that loud, maybe, but it's very incisive.
Beautiful.
So that's basically it.
Makes me so jealous as a pianist. We can try our darnest. I can put my head on the keyboard, but because of the notes, the structure of my piano, I can never achieve that on the piano. So that's why I went and learned the bandoneon. Beautiful.
Great.
So now that we have seen some of the behind-the-scenes sounds of the tango bass, Pablo, would you like to be our first guest ever that will play with not only yourself, but with your other self?
Yeah, I have prepared a couple of things. A really old tango, very famous, called El Choclo, and I've recorded another part, pretending that I'm doing like a duo with myself. So we'll give it a go and see how it goes.
Long live technology, guys.
Yeah, technology. Yeah.
Two Pablo Mottas. Can we handle it?
We're at home, so we have time for this. Here we go. El Choclo. There's going to be a count of by me, by the other me. Un, dos, tres, That's weird.
That is amazing, guys. Do you understand? He is responding to the other Pablo that was responding to the future Pablo that is going to play with the past Pablo. To play with a tape is no easy job. It is improvisation brought to a whole new level because the tape rolls and the tape rolls, right, Pablo?
Yeah.
That is,
I heard myself pushing myself like, come on, let's go.
right? Isn't it amazing? And it's yourself. There's no other fingers to point, eh? It's beautiful. You're amazing. You're amazing. You know, not only is he amazingly improvising with himself, I see, Pablo, that you're using the bass like you're using the violin or the cello. You're playing plenty of melody and plenty of sort of the above the score kind of parts that is usually reserved for, I don't know, singer, violins. What do you see as your life's mission as a bassist, and also what advice would you give to bassists who are listening to us right now?
Well, I've always been interested in playing the melodies. You know, I remember when I was starting college, I was 18, 19, I would get some friends of mine, you know, say some piano players like, can you play something for me? You know, like I'm trying to play the melody of this. Can you just accompany me? And I would ask them to help me. And you know, since we usually don't play much of the melody in any ensemble, we really have to get used to it. That's actually something that happens very often. That you know, the bass player is like playing 99% of the time, playing quarter notes, and then all of a sudden you're exposed and you have to play a melody, and you're like, oh my God, you know, you shake and you sweat, and so we actually have to get used to doing it. So I tell all my students, like, you know, just demand that you play the melody in the ensemble you're in. I've told Pablo Sabatieri, you know, it's like, I said, just, you got to learn the melody, and you have to, we have to offer the melody in two ways. We have to offer by saying, hey, let me play the melody. And we also have to be able to play the melody, you know, which sounds kind of funny, but you know, if we ask to play the melody and then we're giving the melody, it doesn't sound that great, we're not gonna get it again. So we have to be ready for it, and we have to commit, and we have to practice many melodies, and have to practice playing up there, you know. I made a couple of mistakes just now, but you know, just things that happen, it has to be okay, you know. We have to be okay with making mistakes. Just the most important thing, I think, is just being exposed to it.
I hear no mistake. I thought that was a great interpretation. I loved every note of it.
Okay.
And you know, speaking of which, we've now come to the point we notice that your English is excellent. In fact, your English is better than mine.
I can speak. I can say Mandarin words. I can say ni hao ma, xie xie.
I cannot help but notice that you are a half and half, just like me, as in Pablo Motta. As far as I know, you have lived in Los Angeles for just as much time as you have lived in Argentina, and you are bicultural in every way. Not only do you play bicultural music, you are bicultural in language and in person.
Yeah, I've now passed over to the Spanish side more. You know, now we're like 24 years to 20 years in the States. So you know, Argentina's winning now again. But for a long time, it was mostly the U.S. because we moved to the U.S. when I was 12 years old, and I was there until age 32. So 20 years, and yeah, and I learned to play the bass in the States in a public school system, and later on, I started working with my dad when I was around 16. That's where I got my tango education from. And later on, just on my own, you know, self-taught with CDs and, you know, recordings and all that. And on my own in school, I would play classical music and jazz. So, you know, so I had both my sides taken care of. And I'm very lucky for that, because if my dad hadn't played tango, I would have never picked it up, you know.
Boys
basically.
and girls, I must tell you, Pablo Motta has the most famous father in the tango world, Pepe Motta, giant of a tango pianist, absolute giant. You must look Pepe Motta up and listen for yourself, his fraseos, his sound, his interaction with any instrument. Absolutely the most delicious thing you will hear today. And before we actually play you a piece played by both Mottas, Pablo and Pepe Motta, Pablo, can you tell us with what luxury can you share with us? The luxury you had to play with your father for so long in your life. How did you stay in music? I mean, a lot of musicians' parents want their kids to stay in music, but it never succeed. How did he get you to do that, and what did you learn from him?
Well, actually, he didn't do anything to get me to do it, because I started doing it on my own. And basically what he did is he would give me different opportunities. And I would take them, first by starting, when I graduated from junior high school, now it's middle school, but when I was young, it was junior high school. When I graduated from 8th grade, I played at the commencement ceremony, I played a Bach piece, and he accompanied me. And I remember, this kind of shows a little bit of where I get my improvisation from. He got to the school and he's like, okay, where's the piano music? And I couldn't find it. I'm like, I think I lost it. I can't find it.
You should.
So he's like, okay, give me the solo part. So he started writing out the chord changes, for it. And he basically improvised a whole Bach accompaniment, and I played my solo, and it was great. So he always supported me in that way. But then he started hiring me, because I would get paid, hiring me when I was 16, and then we would work together in his studio as sound engineer, so I would learn how to record and how to mix and about sound and programming drum machines, and so he gave me a lot of opportunities in that way. I did a lot of things that actually I was barely qualified to do, or some maybe not, like traveling, recording in movies, doing different things. By age 18, 19, I had already done so much professionally with him. It was really great, like a really great way to get ahead. Because all those things really teach you by need. Like I would be in a certain situation, I'm like, I have to play this right. I have to play well. I have to play in tune. I have to, so. One thing is to be in school or in an orchestra and feeling that, but another one is when you're in the studio and you're 18 and everybody else is grown-ups and professionals, and so that's the best thing that I can say that he did for me, is give me those opportunities and put me in situations where I had to come up to the level.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that with us. Before we play this beautiful piece, see, Pepe Motta has gone to a better place now, about a year and a half ago. So we cannot have him on the episode with us today. So we will do something rather unorthodox for Tango Live with music. We're going to play the track while you look at us, listen to the track. You know what I mean? So before I do that, Pablo, can you tell us the experience of recording Amurado, the piece we're going to play, with your father? How was it?
This piece is this recording is part of some demos that I did, even though it doesn't sound like a demo, but it was basically it's to start planning out my next CD that I will do soon. Having the bass be more like a melody instrument, not just as the foundation, just make it be more of a melody instrument. And so you won't hear me play much of the accompaniment, but there's going to be more of a back and forth. And basically what we did with my dad is we would look at each other and just be like, okay, you play the melody, I play the melody, you play the melody, okay, now you go, I go, So there's basically that communication. And so it's very spontaneous. So what you'll hear is basically us just basically improvising,
Beautiful. I guarantee you. Beautiful. I'm going to press the button. If you don't hear anything, tell me in the chat, okay? Okay. you hear that, everyone? Did you hear that? I heard it 10 times yesterday. I couldn't believe the freshness of the exchange. You can hear the pianos deeply listening to the bass, and the bass is deeply listening to the piano. And they certainly didn't plan, wow, beyond what you have to plan. They certainly didn't plan what they were going to say. They were just having a conversation. And between a piano and a bass, that is special. Congratulations, Pablo. Oh, thank you for sharing your relationship with your father. So now that we are back here, you have so much to tell us. I am going to rush you to the next song that you really wanted to play for us. Boys and girls, do you know the genre called Chacarrera in the Argentine folklore world? Chacarrera is a dance that is really, really fun. You know, the girls with the big dresses and the boys with the loud shoes and lots of clapping and hot weather. That's what I'm seeing right now here in really cold Bloomington. Pablo, would you like to play Chacarrera with...
Sure. I'm getting a message that there's some music that's still sounding. Is that possible?
Uh-oh. Yes, it is possible. Did I stop the music? That is totally possible.
Okay.
Oh, amazing. It plays again. Oh, Winnie-chan. Is it better now? You can hear me talk?
I think that did it. Okay.
Well, so I was just saying, Pablo's going to play you a chacarrera with him and two of his invisible friends. Just a short one to show how it's done.
This is called La Humilde, and it's an arrangement for not two basses, three basses. So I hope you enjoy it. It's quite fun. Just a little show of chacarrera. Here we go.
Wow, cool. Three Pablos. No, four Pablos. Can you handle Three Pablos. It's a lot of Pablos. Chacarrera. Don't we miss it? Thank you, Pablo. Pablo does a lot of folklore music and modern and less modern, gorgeous things you should find in Pablo's archive in the YouTube link that I put under his name over there. You must go to his YouTube site to check out what is fresh that Pablo is making for you these days. He plays with an amazing harmonica player, Franco Luciani. Am I saying this right? Franco Luciani plays with bumbo player, guitar player. He's on TV. I mean, it's ridiculous. This guy's work is all over the place, but you can find it on YouTube over there and SoundCloud, also under Pablo Motta's name. And of course, Pablo teaches double bass all over the world. As you heard, his English is superb. Sign up and learn the double bass from Pablo now, as you must. And what else are you doing, Pablo, for the community that we should know about?
Well, I've always done arrangements. When I was in high school, I did an adaptation of Verano Porteño of Piazzolla, and I directed the school orchestra when I was 17. That was my first big push, and I've always written, composed, arranged, and basically you can hear my arrangements for especially for the quarantine this year, I did a lot of arrangements for basses. But also you can hear in my SoundCloud, you can hear some arrangements of tango, some orchestral things. If you go to the YouTube channel, you can hear a few orchestral pieces, arrangements. So, and if you can also go to the Facebook page where there's also a lot of material, things I've done. There's also a project that I've been working on. It's called Sinfonico.com. Sinfonico.ar. Sinfonico.ar. And it's basically all Argentine music and styles from rock to
cada
folklore,
amor que
tango,
tuve tengo
cumbia,
heridas,
cuarteto, everything.
heridas que no cierran ni sangran
A couple singers, and it's really a great group of
error de
people.
haber
We have
querido
a lot of fun.
ciegamente, matando inútilmente la dicha de mis días.
So I'm not
Tarde me di cuenta que al final se vive igual fingiendo. Tarde comprobé que mi ilusión se marchitó queriendo.
Winnie, stop the music.
Winnie, stop the music. So that's what the amazing button does. The amazing button plays music. Got it? Sorry, y'all. So I was going to play you that song on the way out, but there's so much that Pablo can tell us. I'm going to put in this one last question. Don't go anywhere yet. Pablo, you do everything now during the pandemic, and you're of the younger generation. Can you predict for us, what do you see is going to happen to tango musicians after the pandemic, given all the new skills that we have learned now?
Well, I think that definitely the younger people have gotten more in touch with technology, not just in tango, but I would say like in most genres. I know many of my classical colleagues, they've gotten a lot better at recording, video recording. A lot of them have purchased microphones, sound cards, because we understand that this was obligated to us, but there's also like a whole world that opens up when you do collaborations with people all over the world, So I'm hoping that a lot of people from other countries can see what's going on here, not just the groups that go out and tour, but many of the groups that perform here in Buenos Aires. With all these new streaming concerts and all these things, I'm hoping that people from the rest of the world will get to know more and more artists from here.
Thank you so much, Pablo. I know we're a little over time, boys and girls, but I'm going to say bye-bye with Pablo, with you here, and then I'm going to play his song, beautiful song from his CD, Buenos Aires, Otra Vez. It is a song that is about 5 minutes, but we're going to say bye, and then we're going to play the song. I hope you will continue, stay on, and enjoy it in full. So,
thank you, Winnie.
Thank you, Pablo. I'm going to press that magic play music button. Let's see if it's going to work this time, okay?
Vencí.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next Thursday. Tango in Australia. Join Winnie. Tango in Australia next Thursday. Bye.